I cannot believe I got the chance to cover Guilty Gear Strive and get a review copy from Arc System Works. I'm still absorbing all of that. We're gonna do the review. Okay, trust me. We're covering Guilty Gear Strive for PlayStation 5 Ultimate Edition, and let's get into it. Before I get this video off, I want to give a huge shout out and mahalo to Arc System Works for providing the review copy of Guilty Gear Strive. I will tell you how amazing that week, like the week of launch of Guilty Gear Strive, has been absolutely phenomenal, because not only did I get Guilty Gear Strive from Arc System Works, but also got Ratchet & Clank from Sony, and then I also got Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade from Square Enix. Some of my favorite developers, all within a day of each other, and it was just absolutely insane. So I'm still recovering from that, but at the same time, we got to do what we got to do. We got to make a review for the most amazing fighting game of 2021. That is none other than Guilty Gear Strive. In this video, we're going to be reviewing it. I'm going to talk about the ups and downs, the in-betweens, and everything else that you need to know, mechanics, graphics, and the like. So if you've gotten this far and you haven't already, sub to the channel or hit the like button. What you doing with your life, man? Go ahead and sub to the channel, hit the like button, share it with someone you think would enjoy this. And now that you've done that, I think it's time for us to go ahead and get into this review of Guilty Gear Strive. Story. Guilty Gear Strive follows the events of Guilty Gear Xrd, Revelator, and Rev 2. And is set to wrap up the story of main series character Soul Badguy, aka Frederick Bulsara. Wait, you want me to do a story deep dive on Guilty Gear to get you up to speed in this review? That's not happening, as even Arc System Works themselves and the Guilty Gear website have a whole tab where you can read the comments and synopsis and also watch several YouTube videos in order to be caught up on everything that is going on in this game's world. Long story short, this plot isn't easy to follow in any sense of the word. But for those who are curious about the story, I will include a link down in the description below. That way you can click it and it will take you over to the official site. You'll have access to the comics, YouTube videos, and everything there, and find out as much as you can and want, and also check out the encyclopedia that's within the game. Gameplay. To say that this isn't one of the smoothest feeling fighting games would be a massive lie. Guilty Gear Strive plays so buttery smooth with its simple control layout and easy to grasp yet difficult to master mechanics. The buttons are punch, kick, slash, heavy slash, dust, taunt, dash, roaming cancel, and psych burst. You can combine any of your attacks to chain together combos and even include the various special moves that each character has. For me, I'm a Kai main, so my playstyle can flow between being a rushdown player or a zoner, with the offensive options available at Kai's disposal, as he is a very versatile character, as is this other series main character, Soul Badguy, who has a similar, albeit more powerful and more direct playstyle to Kai, which, in the course of the whole thing, it makes sense given their connection to one another, given that they both were in the order. The roster is admittedly smaller than the last several entries, and honestly is the most comparable to the 98 original in its size, although many more characters will be returning with the upcoming season passes. I do wish it carried over the roster from Xrd Rev 2, although this game and its engine were built from the ground up and didn't reuse assets from that entry. You have your returning mainstays like Soul Badguy, Kiske, Mei, Zato 1, Chip Zanu, Axel Lowe, Faust, and a few others, while also bringing in a few new characters like Giovanna and Nagoriyuki. Guilty Gear Strive is incredibly easy to pick up and play, and yet can be difficult to put down, and has a large number of modes for you to dive into, and has the single best in-game tutorial in any fighting game ever that teaches you every aspect of the game, including the complicated roaming cancel and dust mechanics. If you want to dive into the story mode, then you will be treated to some of the best presented fighting game story cinematics any Japanese fighting game company has ever put out there. And yes, it does completely put Street Fighter V's The Shadow Falls with it just completely puts that to shame. And it goes so far as to even rival even NetherRealm Studios' efforts in Mortal Kombat and the Injustice franchises. The story, albeit hard to grasp if you haven't played almost all the other franchise or, dived into all the deep lore, is enjoyable to sit and watch, especially with the return of the English voice cast. Yeah, this isn't the typical arcade mode or story mode. This is basically, you're going to be watching a cel-shaded 3D anime play itself out. And I'm fine with that. There's a traditional arcade mode, which sees you fight your way through 8 fighters. And there's the training mode, which will teach you everything you need to know, along with a mission mode that gives you various objectives to complete. The online mode is definitely the star of this game, as it has honestly the absolute best netcode, featuring a rollback netcode, which nearly eliminates all lag and latency and gives you an almost arcade-like in-person feel with next to no drops in quality. The way online works is you check into the hotel and are assigned to a floor based on how you do with defeating one of the scripted fights. I ended up on the 7th floor given how well I performed, and as I level up and win more battles, which lets me earn the chance of ranking up and moving on up to the next floor of the hotel. You walk around the hotel with a fully customizable Minecraft-esque avatar, and you can go from floor to floor and walk around interacting with the NPCs and even other players, which is how you can initiate online battles. Graphics. This game is one of the most graphically impressive games I've ever seen. The engine that was founded in Exard has truly evolved over the last 6 years amongst the various Exard revisions, Dragon Ball Fighters, and Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, and is showing how far Team Red have gone and have been able to take this engine to the next level. If you thought the engine made Exard look amazing, then Guilty Gear Strive will put Exard to shame with a substantial increase in graphical fidelity and details in the characters. The game looks and feels like you're playing an anime, and at times it'll be hard to not think that the character models aren't hand-drawn, as they are effectively 3D models that have the character designs layered over them with a cel-shaded effect, which leads to them truly coming to life. The environments and stages you fight in all have a very metal and steampunk aesthetic to them, which really brings the fights to life, as the characters both fit in the arenas that they are fighting in, while also standing out from the background, and it just works. There are moments during fights when you hit an enemy and stagger them, causing the counter status to hit, which will cause the gameplay to slow down, and the font for counter will pop up and blend behind the fighters, while also distorting the audio at the same time with a distortion time effect. It really is amazing what they did with this. Audio. The soundtrack is metal as fuck, and I love it. The main theme of Guilty Gear Strive being Smell of the Game is nothing short of being a masterpiece and gets you amped to dive into this game. Each character has a theme that perfectly suits them, such as Axl Lowe's Out of the Box, Chips, Play the Hero, and especially our main hero's themes being Kai's The Roar Spark and Soul's Find Your One Way, which harken back to their classic themes from older entries, yet brings in a new fierceness and tenacity culminating in the events of Guilty Gear Strive. The voice acting is top notch, with every character sounding as they should in this game with their English voice actors. And even the Japanese ones are always stellar. I mean, we've had Japanese voice acting in this series since '98. It's always been phenomenal, but bringing back the English voice actors, it is really good to hear them again, since it's been since Exard's sign since we've heard any of them. Admittedly, I was taken for a loop when I first heard the English launch trailer, as I had gotten conditioned to not hearing English voices since they introduced them in Guilty Gear 2, Overture, and Exard, and then dropped them for Revelator and Rev 2. So, hearing them again really was an awesome thing. The voice of Soul captures his detached and aloof, yet tormented and pained existence as a prototype Gear, while the voice of Kai showcases the young man's growth of the franchise into a confident young hero no longer clouded by doubts. The sounds of all the attacks sound like they hurt. Everything just has a punchy, crisp sound to them that makes you feel like you're in the midst of the battle, and that's exactly how a fighting game should sound. Downsides. So, with all the praise I've given the game, I do have to be honest with some of the issues the game has, as honestly, it comes down to the fact that I've run into issues with the game crashing on PlayStation 5 after an hour or more playing it, which is annoying, and I'm hoping a patch will fix that over the coming weeks as of this recording. The other issue I've run into is the game's
locking up once you rank up in online matches, as in my experience, I'll be in the middle of restarting a match with an online opponent, and then the game will shift me to the hotel floors and state that I've ranked up and to wait, and ultimately the game just locks up here and I'm unable to do anything other than force close the game and relaunch it. Aside from those two above issues, I've not really run into anything else that would hamper my time with this game.
Okay, so there's one aspect of this that I definitely do need to cover, and I need to cover it because, well, when I originally wrote the review, I left this out, and I think it's just something that needs to be covered because Guilty Gear Strive will be liked and or hated based off of this one thing. And it's the gameplay. And Strive is such a sharp departure from what Guilty Gear traditionally is. Guilty Gear's always been an incredibly fast, fluid, frenetic fighter that's also incredibly tactical with incredibly deep mechanic system. Now with Strive, it's still all that, but the difference is they majorly slowed down the gameplay to the point where many people are comparing it to Street Fighter V, with just cause in saying that, because it doesn't. If you're coming off of playing Guilty Gear Xrd, Rev 2, or you're used to playing Sharp Reload or Accent Core Plus R, then this is not gonna feel like your Guilty Gear. # not my Guilty Gear, which a lot of people do feel like that, but I needed to bring that up. It is slower. Matches are going to be shorter overall because every attack hits harder than it traditionally does. But hey, that's change. For some people, that's going to be a down. For others, it's going to be a up. For me, I enjoy it. It gives this game its own distinct flavor and feel versus feeling like, another expansion to Xrd or another Accent Core extension. It's its own unique title, and I'm happy that Arc System Works, more correctly Team Red, decided to do that. So just wanted to bring that up because I think that's something that will probably come up in the comment section. I feel like I should address it now, but anyways, back to the review.
The wrap up. The fighting game of 2021 is hands down Guilty Gear Strive, as there's nothing that is touching this game when it comes to graphics, gameplay, audio design, story mode, and ease of accessibility and controls. Guilty Gear Strive just nails it on so many fronts and only has two minor issues that need to be fixed to make it the ultimate fighting game of the year, in my opinion. But honestly, right now, it's the undisputed champ. Nothing's touching it. While it could have used more characters to play initially, Guilty Gear Strive is one of the absolute best games to release in 2021 with tight controls and is seriously content rich. Don't pass up this gem. The verdict, buy it.
And that's it. That's the review for Guilty Gear Strive. Again, huge shout out and mahalos to Arc System Works for providing the review copy of the game. I am so happy. I absolutely love this game. I've been playing it nonstop on PlayStation 5. Picked it up on PC, and it's just been an absolute blast to play. But what do you guys think? Do you enjoy this Guilty Gear? Do you like Guilty Gear Strive? Do you prefer the mechanics of Xrd or Rev 2? Or do you prefer like Accent Core Plus R or Sharp Reload? Whatever your thoughts are, let's get the conversation going in the comment section below. And if you want to take the conversation further, we do have Discord and Guilded. Links for those are in the description down below. If you want to pick up the game, I do have Amazon affiliate links. Also, link for that is in the description. And if you want an Aloha built shirt and support your favorite Hawaii creator, hey, again, links in the description. With that being said, I'm going to get back into some Guilty Gear. I hope you guys have a blast. Deuces wild, too sweet, be the elite. I'll see you on the next one. Mahalo and peace.
Mahalo for making it to the end of the video. I really appreciate your support by those of you who like the videos, who watch them, who subscribe. And for those of you who are my Patreon supporters, thank you for your continued support because you help make this possible. If you enjoy my work and you'd like to support what we do have Patreon on patreon.com/Mekel Kasanova. We also have Coffee as well as Subscribestar. So there's various methods if you want to support the work that we do here. We also have channel membership, so make sure you check that out. That way you get up to date on all the latest and greatest content that comes here and first, and exclusive content as well. And if you enjoy the work that I do and you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel. So with that being said, Mekel Kasanova, Hawaii content creator. I hope to see you on the next one. If you haven't already, make sure you hit the subscribe button and ding the notification bell. And all that being said, I'll see you on the next one. Peace.